Good morning, everyone. Welcome to WellSprings. My name is Julie. My pronouns are she and her. And we're going to bring some sunshine and light into this dreary fall day. So please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and join us on our first song today.
I ask myself,
and take a seat. We're going to slow it down for the next one. I shall not walk alone.
Battered and torn, still I can see the light. Tattered and worn, but I must kneel to find. Friend of mine, what can you spare? I know sometimes it gets cold in there when my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones. I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Hope is alive while we're apart. Only tears speak from the heart. Break the chains that hold us down, and we shall be forever bound. And when I'm tired and weary, and a long, long way from home, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. Beauty that we left behind, how shall we tomorrow find? Set aside our weight and sin, so that we can live again. When my legs no longer carry, and the warm wind chills my bones, I reach for Mother Mary, and I shall not walk alone. And I shall not walk alone. And I shall not walk alone.
Please rise, whether in body or in spirit, and join us on our third song in the song block.
Gone at last, gone at last, gone at last, gone at last. I had long, sweet that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. Oh, the night was black, the road was icy, snow was falling, and the drifts were high, and I was weary from my driving, and I stopped to rest for a while. I sat about my past. I had long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. 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 No, I had a long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. Oh, I ain't done. I kicked around some. I don't fall too easily. Look, that boy looks so dejected. Just grab sympathy. Sweet little soul, what's the problem? Tell me why are you so downcast? Well, I had a long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. 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 I had a long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. Oh, once in a while, from out of nowhere, when you least expect it and unprepared, somebody will come and lift you higher, and your burdens will be shared. No, I do believe if I hadn't met you, I might still be sinking fast. Though I had long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. 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 I had long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last. One more time. Gone at last. Gone at last. Gone at last. Gone at last. I had long streak of that bad love, but I pray it's gone at last.
Welcome to WellSprings. To everyone gathered here in Bell Hall on this rainy Sunday, and to everyone joining us online this morning, welcome. My name is Matt Bunzik. My pronouns are he and him, and I am honored to be leading our worship service this morning. Each week, when we gather, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. It's a symbol not only of what is past, but also of what is present, that divine spark, that inner light that shines at the heart of each of our lives. So as we light our chalice today, may we share our light with each other and with the world. And this morning, we have asked our drummer, Handin, and her son, Kai, to light our chalice, and after they've done so, we'll say the words on the screen together. Yeah. And together we say, we light our chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is shared between us and never goes out. Thanks, Kai. Thanks, Handin. Good morning. Our mission here at WellSprings is to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And what's charging me full this morning is, this is going to sound interesting, it's It's the freedom of religion. This is embodied in our Constitution in the First Amendment. It's also a very Unitarian idea. A lot of our founders of our country were Unitarian Universalists, or at least they espoused those principles. And this played out for me in a very interesting way this past week. Some of you know that I've studied with shamans, Q'ero shamans in Peru. And I was able to draw on my resources from these teachings in the past week. And as you know, we lost our beloved Carol Klikotka this 2 Saturdays ago. And as you know, she was in the presence of her granddaughter and another young friend last Saturday. And I was that young friend. And my mom and I had visited Carol on Labor Day. And she was still awake and alert, and we had an awesome visit with her. And she said to me, "Matt, you have to meet my granddaughter. She is in Peru right now, studying with shamans." And I don't know if I had told her about my studies with the Four Winds Society, but I was extremely excited, and I asked her if I could share energy medicine sessions with her virtually and whenever I visited her, and she was so open to that and grateful for that. And toward the end of Carol's life, her granddaughter flew back from Peru the night before she passed. And I got in touch with her, and we decided to meet in Carol's room last Saturday just to say our goodbyes, do one last final energy medicine session with her. And wouldn't you know, she took her last breath in our presence. And so we were able to draw from what was gifted to us from our shaman mentors. And we did the death rites for her in the Q'ero tradition. And we lifted her energy body from her physical body. And we handed it over to a team of loving ancestors waiting for her on the other side. These teachings have helped me so much in my life. They've helped me when I've lost other people in my life. They've helped me through great challenges. They fill me with a sense of purpose in life. They make me want to serve not only this community, not only this country, but this entire planet. They make me see our bodies as more than just these bodies that bear our names. They make me see love as much more than something we deserve, but as something that it's what we are. And so this morning, while we're continuing our message series of getting off the fence, my prayer for all of us is that we can continue to get off the fence for freedom of religion and freedom of spirituality, and that we can embody spiritual practices in our lives in which we can live out our Unitarian principles and we can feel a tremendous love in our lives. This morning, I would like to welcome any newcomers. If this is your first or second time with us, we're so glad that you're here. I hope that you'll fill out a connection card so that you can learn more about us and you can start to introduce yourself to us as well. If you're watching from home, there is a link to the online connection card in the description below the video. And any of you can fill out a connection card on your phone through our WellSprings app. And you can also see our greeters in the back, Ron and Carol, and they can help you get connected. And you can also scan the QR code that shows up on the screen during the announcements, and you can access the connection card that way as well. And if anybody here would like to interact with anybody who is joining online this morning, there is a live chat available on YouTube. To access it, you'll need a YouTube or a Google account. Just sign in and click the live chat button to say hello. And finally, you can always find more information about today's service, as well as any upcoming events and news through our WellSprings app, or by scanning the QR code available on the welcome table outside of Bell Hall, just in front of the doors. And we have a few pieces of news and information that we want to highlight this weekend. And so for that, I'll turn it over to our membership and communications coordinator, Jessica Heichel.
And as always, here is the QR code that you can scan at any point to get more information on these announcements. Up first, a reminder that our small groups team is offering a series of 5 discussion groups, and we invite you to attend as many as you can. And luckily today, one is happening right after service. So if you're interested in checking that out, and you're already here anyway, this might be a really good opportunity to see what these small groups are all about. There are 4 more coming up after this, so scan that QR code. That will take you to a list of the others. Some are at congregants' houses, one is in a park, one is online. So there really is a lot of opportunity for folks to connect in a way that works for them. Second announcement, the Leadership Development Ministry has put out a call just to remind folks that there is always a path to leadership here at WellSprings for folks who are interested. If you feel that you would like to start a conversation about moving towards a leadership position here, scan this QR code. It'll take you to a news item where you'll see some email addresses for folks on our Leadership Development Ministry to get that conversation started. And finally, we have an announcement from the Youth Bridge Ministry with lots of help from some of our friends, so we're going to go to that now. Let's all get off the fence to fight food insecurity. You can help in 2 ways. First, you can donate to this fund. Second, you can come to the event.
Join teens and kids this Saturday for a WellSprings community event. We'll be getting off the fence to help with food insecurity. And then we'll play! Meet up with us Saturday, September 30th at the Giant in Thorndale. See one for details. Bye, have a nice day.
Each kid and teen will get $10 towards their shopping errand for this event.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, kids. At WellSprings, the foundation of all that we do is rooted in the power of connection, of making space in our hearts and in our lives for each other. This is the part of our service where we honor that connection by greeting one another. We recognize our community's presence well beyond these walls, so feel free to take a moment now to connect and share a greeting in the live chat, or maybe say hello in WellSprings Oasis, our private group on Facebook. For those here in Bell Hall, a reminder to please ask before hugging or approaching closely, and if you prefer to keep your distance from others for any reason, just stay seated, and that'll be our cue to give you a friendly wave from afar. With gratitude for all the ways that we might connect, please greet one another now. All those warm greetings. And we can make our way back to our seats. And everyone here in Bell Hall, And we can continue the conversations during our coffee hour, which will take place right here in Bell Hall after the service. Okay. Let's find our seats again. Okay. I'm not assertive enough to rein everybody in like this. This is the hardest part of worship leading for me. Okay. And finding your seats again. Thank you for all those warm greetings. And now I invite us all into our time of generosity. And this is an opportunity to express our gratitude for and our commitment to the ways this spiritual community has an impact on all our lives. We sustain WellSprings now and into the future through our contributions. If you'd like, you can use your phone to give from anywhere. Just text WSprings to 73256. It's also easy and convenient to automate your giving on Realm. Our greeters will also be bringing hats around for those who would like to donate by hand. And you can also drop a check or a cash donation in the box near the front doors on the welcome table. Thank you for all the ways your gifts support WellSprings. Our offering will now be gratefully received. Let's take some time now to reground into the deep and soulful energy that is within. We do this by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling. Without rush or hurry, breathing in and breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence together. As we prepare for our time of mindful silence, we follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Wherever it is that we are, whatever it is that we are doing, however it is that we are feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for all of us in this moment. May it be so for us this day. and may it be so for us in the days to come. And now I'd like to invite all of our congregation's children to join our staff and volunteers in the back of the room for their time of fellowship in Youth Spirit. Youth Spirit will be meeting in the Gresh Hall right out the doors straight ahead. And grown-ups, please remember to pick up your children after Youth Spirit, after the service is over and after Youth Spirit. And now the band will lead us in our next song.
Please rise and sing along if you know this one.
People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. People get ready for the train to Jordan. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is a key, open the doors and board up. There's hope for all among those loved the most. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. I'm getting ready, getting ready, getting ready, getting
That's better. Good morning. Oof, feels a little surreal to be up here finally. It's been a journey. It really has. For those of you who don't know me, I am Nick Sanchez, he, him. And if you haven't had a chance to meet me or haven't been checking those WellSprings emails, you won't know that I'm your new ministerial intern for the next 2 years. So buckle up, I'll be here for a little bit. I am filled with absolute joy and gratitude to be here today, and I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for having me here to be a part of this congregation. It's my first time speaking here, and I am kind of filled with that nervous excitement of doing something new for the first time. It's not my first time giving a sermon, although it's been a little bit. But it is my first time speaking here at WellSprings, and for many of you, it's your first time hearing my voice. So hopefully I do well enough today that you'll want to have me back. I hope that in 2 years we're able to look back on today as the start of something beautiful and wonderful and a journey filled with love and inspiration. Last week, Reverend Lee got us started off on this message series about getting off of the fence. She did a beautiful job showing us how our UU principles guide us as a community to get off the fence, to make decisions, to live with our values. Today, I'd like to continue that message and explore what it means to get off the fence in a more personal way. For us as individuals, what does it mean to get off of our fence? When we are stuck on a decision, when we feel a pull to go or grow in a new direction, but we feel stuck, we feel scared, maybe we feel a little too comfortable with where we are. So this morning, I thought I would try to feed two birds with one stone and get this message started by also telling you a little bit about myself and my time on my fence. About a decade ago, I was not doing so great. I was probably at my worst. I felt beaten down, I was exhausted and empty, and I felt a little bit hopeless. I had years of financial hardship, I suffered a debilitating spinal cord injury, I lost my business, I had my truck stolen, and I was reeling from the loss of some really, really dear loved ones. I looked around me and I saw a world on fire, and I was ready to just watch the world burn. I wanted to throw my arms up, find me a spot on that fence, and get comfortable. And that's part of the problem with the fence, is it can feel comfortable. It can feel so comfortable that we feel like we could sit there and ride out the rest of our lives and just watch the world go by. And I stayed there for a while. And I wasn't just comfortable on the fence, I was paralyzed by fear to get off of it. What if I made something in my life somehow worse? What if I committed to something I later regretted? What if I wasted my time? And that one really hit me. I lost some loved ones, and I felt our time here is so precious. What could I possibly do worse than wasting my time? But I was already wasting my time. I was not living an authentic life. I was not being me. I was letting life happen around me, and my life was just filled with the things that came about in front of me. I was a passenger in my own car. I was a sidekick in my own story. I was an NPC in my own game. It's a non-player character for those of you who may not be in the know. Every so often, we really must ask ourselves, are we truly living when we're just sitting on the sidelines of our own lives? Then I had a moment that changed me, and I'm sure some of you have had moments like this throughout your life. Let's call it an interruption moment. It wasn't the first one. I doubt it will be the last one, but it was probably one of the most powerful ones. I was living in an apartment in a not-so-great part of Philadelphia. I had just returned home from working a double shift at one of the only jobs I could find at the time, washing dishes, and I was soaking wet with dirty dishwater from head to toe. It was a rough day, and I climbed up to that third-story attic apartment, and I remember I just wanted to lay down on the mattress in the corner and just end this day. I didn't care about taking my shoes off or changing my clothes. But as I had mentioned, I just lost some loved ones that were close to me. And I had this ritual I had started at the end of the day to honor them. And it didn't feel right to go to bed without doing that. So I went to the corner where I had this little altar set up as a tribute to my loved ones, and I went to go light a candle, but it wouldn't light. So I had gone into the kitchen, try and get a knife to dig the wick out a little bit and see if I could get this started. And true to the quality of the apartment, the kitchen window didn't quite close all of the way, and didn't quite open all the way either. So when I'm in this corner, I can hear everything that's going down in the street below me. And I heard something you don't often hear in that section of Germantown. It was distinctly the voice of Frank Sinatra. And I had to look up the song later because I had never heard it before, but I swear he was talking right to me, and he said, "What are you doing with the rest of your life?" What are you doing with the rest of your life? That really struck me. I felt something deep within me, like it was the universe asking me that question. Like it was my loved ones asking me that question, my nephew asking me that question. What are you doing with the rest of your life? I thought about that all day and all night. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I had that realization that I'm not living my life. I saw myself as that sidekick in my own story, as that passenger, as that NPC. I knew that I had to make some changes and start living again, using the precious gift of time that I had been given that others had been robbed of. It wasn't fair to them. So I did. And the very next day, true story, I texted a girl that I had a crush on since high school. I hadn't seen her in about 4.5 years, and by a small miracle, she actually answered. We hung out the next day, came back into my life, and never left. And that's a little bit about the story about how I met my wife, Katie, in the back corner there. You know, our faith proclaims the inherent worth and dignity of all people. And for a long while there, I had forgotten about my own worth and my own dignity. I spent the next few years slowly getting off the fence. I'd found the courage to ask the love of my life to marry me. I found the strength and managed to make huge steps in recovering from my spinal injury. I found the courage to make the move across the country and pursue a dream to live by the beach. But I was still stuck in the survival mode mentality, this fear that things would somehow get worse, could somehow go the wrong way. I'd always put my career before my calling, because my whole life, since I was very young, I had been getting something we referred to as a vocational call. It was a sense from deep within me that I felt compelled to explore deep questions of the world, what it is to be human, our relationship to the divine, what it is to love. It was an undeniable urge to help others and the need to spread this message of love through the world. It was a call that came from without as well from within, and looking back, I probably should have taken the hints that I had seen throughout my life, but as Katie can attest to, I'm not so great at picking up at subtle messages. I was that person who friends would come to see after a loss. I had acquaintances who I barely knew ask me if I would officiate their wedding. I had strangers stop me in the street after a quick, "Hey, what's up?" and lay down their burdens in front of me, sit down, and have a conversation. At a family reunion when I was 10, I had a distant cousin who had gone into the priesthood. He was a Catholic priest, and he said to me, "You know, this is where you're going." And he was kind of right. Some of the details were a little off. So yes, the vocational call was coming in so many different ways, and my phone was ringing, but it was a number I didn't feel that I recognized, so I kept hitting ignore. I kept sending it to voicemail, because I felt, who was I to be getting this call? Much less getting the call in the first place, who was I to answer the call? I felt like it was a wrong number, you know? And it took another one of those interruption moments for me to pick up. It was just a few years back, and Katie and I were living down in Florida, and I'd been having pretty regular conversations with the Reverend Harris Reardon at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Boca Raton, where we had been going at the time. She seemed absolutely convinced that I would go into ministry, even if I was not. But it wasn't a conversation with her that convinced me to pick up. It was something that I had heard from a 7-year-old. I was volunteering at Camp Starfish, a summer camp for bereaved children. And at the end of the day, one day, while we were sitting and coloring and waiting for the last few parents to come pick up their kids, that question came about. The question that always comes about when you're hanging out with a group of kids is, what do you want to be when you grow up? And there were some answers, but there was one kid that did not look up from his coloring at all. And he simply said, "I don't know. What do you want to be?" This kid at 7 years old knew that whatever I wanted to do, whatever I was meant to be doing, I wasn't doing it. What do you want to be? I've been asked that question 1,000 times in my life, but this was the first time that the answer was clear to me. You see, sometimes you just need to decide what you're going to do and go do it. So the next day I called Reverend Harris and I took those first steps into ministry. When I started this path, I had so many friends ask me, why? Why are you doing this right now? Why do you want to go into professional ministry in the early 21st century after all we've been through? Why you? And really at the core of my answer is my belief that the spirit of any congregation, whether they be you, or really any earnest religion, is the spirit to come together in community and to try and be better. I think that's all a sentiment that we can appreciate that the world needs right now, maybe more than ever. Trying to be better. Being better means turning against those primal human instincts of fear and anger and meeting them with courage and love. Turning against those socialized instincts of staying quiet and going with the flow and standing up, speaking for your convictions, and working to create justice in the world. See, justice is a concept that we all hold within us. We know from when we're very young if something is fair or unfair, but it's not something that we see play out in the natural world. It takes a commitment to action to create justice. It takes getting off the fence. Back then, I was living in a world of maybe. When we are too comfortable to say yes or to say no, we live in this limbo of maybe. It's a world of non-commitment, of indecision, vacillation, and it presents us with the illusion of ease. How many of you have ever received an invite and just clicked maybe because it was easy? And it could be done in earnest. Maybe we don't want to disappoint our host. Maybe we don't really know what we're doing that day. But we make that decision to be indecisive. How many of us have received a maybe, or 2, or 3, or 100? It's pretty difficult to plan, much less live your life in a world of maybes. And if you take yourself way, way back to grade school, imagine you're sitting at a desk and you get a note passed to you. It says, "Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe." I can guess which got circled the most. In the spirit of committing to turning away from that maybe answer, I want to introduce you to a favorite poem of mine. It's one that I garner both wisdom and inspiration from. It's written by Andrea Gibson, a non-binary person who uses they, them pronouns, and they are an award-winning poet and activist. I cannot recommend to you enough that you check out their work. Now this is caveat to this. This is a little longer than something I'd usually share, but I figure it's my first sermon and maybe you'll forgive me. This is titled Say Yes by Andrea Gibson, and I'm going to do my best to read it with the kind of passion, fury, and delight that Andrea would. When 2 violins are placed in a room, if a chord on one violin is struck, the other violin will sound the note. If this is your definition of hope, this is for you. The ones who know how powerful we are, who know we can sound the music and the people around us simply by playing our own strings, for the ones who sing life into broken wings, open their chests and offer their breath as wind on a still day when nothing seems to be moving, spare those intent on proving God is dead. For you, when your fingers are red from clutching your heart so it will be faster, for the time you mastered the art of giving yourself for the sake of someone else, for the ones who have felt what it is to crush the lies and lift the truth so high the steeples bow to the sky, this is for you. This is also for the people who wake early to watch flowers bloom, who notice the moon at noon on a day when the world has slapped them in the face with its lack of light, for the mothers who feed their children first and thirst for nothing when they're full, This is for women and the men who taught me only women bleed with the moon, but there are men who cry when women bleed, men who bleed from women's wounds. And this is for that moon, on the nights she seems hung by a noose, for the people who cut her loose, and for the people still waiting for that rope to burn, about to learn they have scissors in their hands. This is for the man who showed me the hardest thing about having nothing is having nothing to give, who said the only reason to live is to give ourselves away. So this is for the day we'll quit our jobs and work for something real. We'll feel for sunshine in the shadows, look for sun rays in the shade. This is for the people who rattled the cage that slave wage built, and for the ones who didn't know the filth until tonight, but right now are beginning to sing songs that sound something like turning porch lights on and calling the homeless back home. This is for the stuff we own, and for the day we'll learn how much we have when we learn to give that stuff away. This is for doubt becoming faith, for falling from grace and climbing back up, for trading our silver platters for something that matters like the gold that shines when we hold each other. This is for the grandmother who walked 1,000 miles on broken glass to find that single patch of grass to plant a family tree where the fruit would grow to laugh. For the ones who know that the math of war has always been subtraction, so they live their lives like an act of addition. For when you give, like every star is wishing on you, and the people still wishing on stars, this is for you. This is for the times you went through hell so someone else wouldn't have to. For the time you taught a 14-year-old girl she was powerful. The time you taught a 14-year-old boy he was beautiful. For the radical anarchist asking a Republican to dance, because what's the chance of moving from right to left when the only moves they see are NBC and CBS? This is for the no becoming yes. For scars becoming breath, for saying I love you to people who will never say it to us, for scraping away the rust and remembering how to shine, for the dime you gave away when you didn't have a penny, for every song we've ever sung, for refusing to believe in miracles, because miracles are the impossible coming true and everything is possible. This is for the possibility that guides us and for the possibilities still waiting to sing and spread their wings inside us, because tonight Saturn is on his knees proposing with all of his 10,000 rings that whatever song we've been singing, we sing even more. The world needs us right now more than it ever has before. Pull all your strings, play every chord. If you're writing to letters to prisoners, start tearing down the bars. If you're handing out flashlights in the dark, start handing out stars. Never go a second hushing the percussion of your heart. Play loud, play like you know the clouds have left too many people cold and broken, and you're their last chance for sun. Play like there's no time, hoping for brighter days will come. Play like the apocalypse is only 4, 3, 2. Yeah, but you have a drum in your chest that could save us. You have a song like a breath that could raise us, like the sunrise into a dark sky that cries to be blue. Play like you know we won't survive if you don't, but we will if you do. Play like Saturn is on his knees, proposing with his 10,000 rings that we give every single breath. This is for saying yes. This is for saying yes. If it's not evident, I love that poem, and I'm very moved by it every time I hear it. My favorite line in that whole thing is, this is for saying I love you to people who will never say it to us. I feel so moved by that. Because that is the most selfless act of courage that I can imagine. It is the true spirit of loving thy neighbor, and I cannot think of a better example than the spirit of getting off our personal fence, than doing something we believe is right and wonderful and needed in this world, and knowing that there will be absolutely no reward and no payoff other than knowing that we are putting something into the world that we believe in. I believe that the hardest part about living a mortal life is not the knowledge that it must one day end, but that we only have so much time to put love into this world. As much love as we possibly can. The only reason to live is to give yourself away. And I believe that. You'll learn a lot about me in the next few years, but one thing you'll definitely come to know about me is that I find the divine and courageous acts of love. And that oftentimes I'll equate love and God like they're the same thing. And maybe we should talk about that sometime. Probably a sermon for another day. But my point is, I hope you find inspiration from that. I hope the things you hear listed in that, are courageous acts of love that inspire you to get off the fence, to live an authentic life, to live your authentic life. I hope they're things that you recognize yourself of having done, planning to do. Have you ever given away a dime when you didn't have a penny? Have you ever felt like you were climbing back up after falling from grace? So whatever song you've been singing, sing even more, because the world needs it now more than it ever has before. When we do this, we live authentically. And when we live authentically, we can find purpose and fulfillment in every moment, knowing that we're being true. As UUs, we have a responsibility to stand up for our values, our principles, and work towards a better world. And let us not forget to include ourselves in that better world. Let's remember our own inherent worth and dignity and remind our neighbor of theirs. It is in the spirit of embracing a life of purpose that I ask each of you to try something this week. Not for me, but for yourself, for your neighbor. If you find yourself this week about to say, maybe, just stop. Make a decision. You don't have to say yes, like the poem suggests. In fact, there are some things that I really hope you do say no to. There is a sacredness to saying no, and that's probably another sermon for another day. But this one small step in getting off the fence, cutting out the word maybe, let's try that. And although we may make a special effort this week, getting off the fence is not a one-time event. It's not a one-week event. It is a lifetime. It is a lifelong journey. It's about continually challenging ourselves to live with purpose, courage, and authenticity. As you use our values, task us to embrace this journey, to stand up for justice, to create a world where all people are treated with dignity and respect. One of the most beautiful aspects of our faith is our sense of community, and when we take action, we inspire our neighbors and those around us. When we remember our own inherent worth, we remind each other of the dignity each of us has. Together, we can accomplish so much more. Together, we support one another, learn from each other, and create the change in the world that we want to see. Together, we can do more than just get down from our fences. We can dismantle the fences that separate us. Let us encourage each other to be better. Let us have the courage to embrace our values. Let us have the courage to live our lives with purpose. Let us work to create a world where fences are no longer necessary. So, whatever song you've been singing, sing even more, because the world needs it now more than it ever has before. Amen. May you live in blessing. So I'd like to invite the band up now for one last song, and as they may make their way up here, I invite you all to join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of love, divine universe, giver of being, we give thanks for the life and the love that we all share. We honor the inherent worth and dignity of ourselves and of our neighbors. We give gratitude for the love we experience in this life, both giving and receiving, because both are a joy. And we give thanks for the multitude of everyday miracles that have allowed us to be here together today, right here in this moment. For those prayers spoken aloud and for the silent prayers we carry in our hearts, we say amen. Amen.
Thank you, Nick. And please rise and sing along as if somebody needs to hear this.
up and walk out on me. Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I'm gonna try not to sing out of key. You know,
Get by with little help from my friends.
oh yes I do.
Get high with little help from my friends.
I need help from me and you.
Gonna try with little help from my friends.
Yeah. What do I do when my love is away?
Does it worry you to be alone?
Oh, no, I don't. How do I feel at the end of the day?
Are you sad because you're on your own?
Oh, no, you know why? 'Cause I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, yes, I do.
High with little help from my friends.
Oh, little help from my friends.
Try with little help from my
Yeah,
friends.
little help, yeah.
Do you need anybody?
I need someone to love.
Could it be anybody?
You know, I need someone. I need someone. Yeah, yeah. Now I'm certain that it happens all the time.
What do you see when you turn out the light?
I can't tell you, but sure feels fine. You know, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, yes, I do.
Get high with a little help from my friends.
Oh, yeah.
High with a little help from my friends.
Uh-huh.
Help from my friends. High with a little help from my friends. High with a little help from my friends. High with a little help from my friends.
Today, this flame will go out, but the warmth that burns inside of us will always remain. Please join me now as we release this flame from its faithful service today. We allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our path today, tomorrow, and always. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If here you have dreamed dreams, help one another so that they might come true. And if here you have found love, give some back to a bruised and bruising world. Go now in peace, but before you do, put your hands together one more time while the band plays us out.
Yeah. I'm so worried about getting the beginning.